Your world would not be in its present condition were you to have simply listened to your experience. The result of you not listening to your experience is that you keep reliving it over and over again. For my purpose will not be thwarted, nor my will be ignored. I will not force you to, however. I will never coerce you. For I have given you a free will, the power to do as you choose, and I will never take that away from you, ever. And so I will continue sending you the same messages over and over throughout the millennia, and to whatever corner of the universe you occupy. Endlessly will I send you my messages until you have received them and held them close, calling them your own. We're just jumping in.
What do you want to? I can cut it.
No.
What do you want?
No. Loved your little video.
Oh yeah.
But why are you not feeling good?
I have and now I don't know if it's like genetics or anything, but so when I was younger, I was tested for celiac disease, and it's on like a scale. Everything's on a scale. And when I got tested when I was younger, it was from 1 to 5, and I'm a 3.5 when I was younger. I don't know how it is now. But when I eat like bread and like gluten things, I get like the worst head cold, and like my stomach hurts, and then I have really bad like gas whenever I have dairy. It's like really bad. When I was younger, dairy would cause like hives and that kind of stuff. And now it doesn't, but I still I don't feel good. And we bought stuff from Sam's Club so that we didn't buy Panda, but it was like popcorn chicken and the pork rolls that are like egg rolls. And I made that last night, and I had no idea it was going to make me so sick today. So this morning I was like, ugh, never again. I was like, it was so good and so bad all at the same time.
Yeah, I've kind of stopped eating pork, like any type of pig,
Okay.
because I don't digest it very well either. Not to say that I ever eat it, but if I do, it's like
Yeah.
small amounts and I can tolerate that.
Yeah.
But if I am like, oh, I tolerated that, and then I try to do it again the next day, no bueno.
No.
And now the interesting thing, and I'm actually kind of sad. Well, it's not that I think I have to just be more mindful. So, as one knows, like steak, like steak is a hard thing for everybody to digest. Like it's a very slow digestion of steak. I don't know why. I'm sure someone told me why, but I don't know. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But I've been finding that the older I get, like just in general, but especially if I have steak, because I love steak.
I love steak too.
I can't eat it too late at night. Much less, I can't really eat too late at night. Otherwise, I don't sleep very well. But specifically steak, if I eat smaller portions and I eat early enough, I do better.
Mm-hmm.
But just last weekend, we grilled steak, and I didn't live by my rule. And oh man, my belly just not happy. So I have
Exercise that
never
free will
tested.
to eat steak.
Yeah, so I've done like a lot of okay, so in all my conversations I've had with you thus far, I'm pretty like I think I feel like blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, somebody's gonna be listening. Maybe Jessie, our friend Jessie, my one and only fan. Jessie, I hope I can call you that because that's how I refer to you now, Jessie, my fan. Anyways, I don't really know that I'm her fan. I think she is a fan of you, and I'm just a byproduct of that fanhood there.
Well, I think you're like famous in Winona now, you know? You're just famous.
Hope not. I mean, no, I don't have the paparazzi coming after me, and no one asked for my my picture or my autograph, so I can't be that famous.
I post in your Winona Facebook page.
You do?
Yeah.
What do you post?
You.
Oh, our stuff?
Yeah.
Is anybody like, I know this woman and she's like, woohoo,
No, no. Not yet. We'll
wait for
see.
it.
Yeah, I'm excited now.
Now where was I head? Oh, so I thought, you know what? Why don't you actually prepare for one of these conversations, Heather? Like, why don't you have like some information that I can share? I did a horrible job. Except for that I found the book, Conversations with
Hey,
God.
that's awesome.
Neil Donald Walsh. This is only book 1. I do want to read the other 2, but I have not ordered them yet. But now that I've gotten permission to order books because of my building library, I'm going to order the other 2 and then I'll read them. But he talks about free will. And so I was trying to find the page and like read a little ditty for you, but I can't. The only thing I can find where he actually uses the words free will, by golly, did I lose it? No, I worked so hard.
No, no.
Hold on.
We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Found it.
Oh, good.
Page 3. But are we jumping right into this? Do you need to like, I remember the very first conversation we had, like you did this beautiful like introduction and like segue into what we were talking about. Did you want to do that?
I mean, at this rate, like, I can. We're officially live. I'm here with Heather from Journeys with Heather.
Wait, is this live or is this just like, this
No, it's
isn't
just
live?
right cohorting. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I saw that red light again. Remember
Yeah.
the first time? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually on camera. People are going to see me talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I better get over it because I am a budding actress.
Yeah, exactly. Journeys with Heather. And if you don't know and you're an active listener, Heather has been a recurring guest and is now um my inspiration to getting my Founders Club off the ground. My other YouTube videos have been my personal letter to Heather, and she has been my inspiration to getting my Founders Club off the ground, which is for gym fitness studio owners. Heather is a studio owner in Winona, Minnesota, and the ability to give them the keys to their golden handcuffs of a job in the day-to-day rat race to be able to have a future and a legacy and be able to develop stewardship and create present day stability in their life. So if that sounds like you and you like Heather or don't like Heather, yeah, I'm here for you.
You don't like her, just listen to me.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you are interested in coming on my podcast as well, please feel free to reach out to me and I would love to see what we can do. Otherwise, today's conversation with Heather is about free will, because the real question on leaving the rat race is whether or not you have the free will to make choices.
Before we start with that,
Sure, yeah, tell me.
so I watched a few snippets of our time together.
Yeah.
I'm very animated.
That's
I
so
didn't
great.
realize that about myself.
Oh, really?
And yeah, like,
I love it.
whoa.
I love it.
My face, my hands get in there, my whole body, like my voice goes up and down. I'm like, woo, woo. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then when you shared that picture today of the screenshot from yesterday's conversation, Mandy's the only stoic face. And my face is like, I feel like I am on a roller coaster. I'm like, woo, and you're just laughing your brains out. And I'm just like, clearly I was more shocked of a random person than anyone else in that little group. But anyways,
I think, to be fair, I think Mandy was a little distracted because she needed to leave, but I think she had like text messages or something coming in. And
Well, I agree.
yeah. So,
But who wants to leave this? Like,
yeah.
I understand why she chose to stay and chose not to shower. So she.
Yesterday's conversation was so great. And then, man,
I
it's
was
just
still talking about it. I was still talking about it today. And I saw Mandy today, actually. And
in person.
yeah. And I'm like, you ducked out too early because it got even better. Like, I thought it was good, but it got better. And then she was a little sad. She's like, no, I'll have to watch the whole thing. I'm like, well, shouldn't you be anyways? I didn't say that, but I was thinking it.
Oh, man.
Okay, free will. This is
Free
actually
will.
super interesting to me because I don't know why I find it fascinating. Everything is fascinating to me, to tell you the truth.
I love it.
But on page 3, I just want to like give a shout out to this book because I do think it's a really good book, and I think everyone should read it, no matter what your like, I don't know, whatever your beliefs are. I find it just fascinating. So give it a whirl. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be contacted by this gentleman that wrote this, and I am get paid nothing to promote it. So I've always wanted to say that. Okay, you can delete that. It was funny though.
No, worth
But
every penny.
okay, this is
Why?
like
Why wouldn't you be sponsored by him?
doesn't know who I am.
Sure, but you create your own reality. We could talk about him enough that he should figure out who you are.
Wouldn't you flip out if like one day I message you and be like, guess who I know? Guess who I'm friends with? Neil. Of all people, Neil and Dwayne.
I'm gonna write to him.
By the way, I did tell my husband I'm leaving him. He's like, you must have had really fun on that phone call because I could hear you laughing and like, how many times like were you gonna come like leave and hang up and you kept. So anyways, I'm not really leaving him.
Listen, we better clarify for anybody
No.
listening. We got the winky face going on.
No, he knows me better than that. He's my retirement plan. Are you kidding? Okay, again, I joke. And so I really need to also probably tone down until people know me. Like people are going to listen and be like, "Oh my gosh." But that's just a joke. I'm not leaving him, and he's not my retirement plan. Okay. Free will.
Free will.
But he says in here, this is a lengthy conversation, but here's the gist of it. He says your world, and when I say he, that's capital H, meaning God is talking now, not Neil. Your world would not be in its present condition were you to have simply listened to your experience. The result of your not listening to your experience is that you keep reliving it over and over again. For my purpose will not be thwarted, nor my will be ignored. You will get the message sooner or later. I will not force you to, however. I will never coerce you. For I have given you a free will, the power to do as you choose, and I will never take that away from you, ever. And so I will continue sending you the same messages over and over throughout the millennia, and to whatever corner of the universe you occupy. Endlessly will I send you my messages until you have received them and held them close, calling them your own. This is just such a good book. I could just read the whole thing. Should I? No, I won't. So it got me thinking, like, because of our conversation, like, what do I actually think about free will? And what all the people that I like read and like listen to, like, what do other people think, right? And this I think was so great, and I took notes. This is how prepared I am today.
Hey.
This is not going to be willy-nilly, people. So something to explore for us in our conversation, I thought. I can't wait to have you hear this. You could frame free will as existing layers. So layer 1 would be biological. This is genetics and nervous system. Psychological, conditioning and trauma. Social, the influence is what I'm saying now. So your layer is biological, influence, genetics, nervous system. Layer, psychological, influence, conditioning, trauma. Layer, social, influence, culture and systems. Layer, it could be energetic free will, influence, emotions, resonance. And then spiritual would be soul, karma, consciousness. Existential, meaning making. And mystical, unity and surrender. And I thought that was fascinating, like a fascinating way to think of free will, right? And I was talking about this a little bit yesterday. Like, what if free will is like a layered thing based on our level of consciousness? I don't know, sit with that.
That's really fascinating that you.
So who am I like pulling from? I'll tell
Sure,
you.
sure.
So Carl
Young.
Jung. I always say Jung. I don't know why I say that. Who else did I look up? I looked up, of course, Neil Donald Walsh. Eckhart Tolle. Do you know him? He's good. There's some Buddhist people, like a Buddhist like perspective. There's a book that I found, but I didn't read it yet, Living Without Free Will, which I thought would be interesting to read. Who else did I look up? I am a fan of like Carolyn Miss. Alan Watts, if you know him. Or any of these people. Viktor Frankl, you've had to have heard of him. Yeah, pretty much that. Do you know Dolores Cannon? She's no longer on Earth, but she was good. I follow her work, not her personally. I'm still here, in case you wanted to know. Just to clarify, everybody, I am still Earthling. That would be another conversation. Abraham Hicks, if you've heard of them. Joe Dispenza, of course, I've talked about him before. Neville Goddard, we talked about him before. So anyways, I just kind of was like researching like what are some of these people's thoughts on free will. So it's kind of like this is like my note taking of the collective stuff that I found.
That's
Michael
incredible.
Singer. Yeah. Oh, Louise Hay, of course. I always refer to her too a lot. I don't know if you know her. Anyways, ooh, Bashar. I don't know if you know who Bashar is. Bashar is really good too. That's not his real name. What's his real name? It'll come to me. Bashar. Daryl something. He goes by Bashar when he channels. It's like Abraham Hicks. It's actually Esther. Okay, am I losing you? Esther Hicks, when she channels, it's like the voice of Abraham. I just took you in a totally different thing. Where's Tucker? Tucker!
Brother, man, I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel like, and we've had this discussion before where it's like there's so much that people are unwilling to explore or understand or level of consciousness when it comes to their religion and their belief because it's for them it can feel so threatening, right? Like in therapy we talk about like whenever there's anger, it's an iceberg, and at the bottom of that iceberg is fear. And so like the reality is like what they're experiencing is just fear itself, because it threatens their level of consciousness. Look at this coming full circle. That's
Yeah.
wild, because I feel like the things that you were just telling me about, and one of the reasons I thought having you and Tucker all together and having this conversation about quantum mechanics would be so interesting is because he has like such a science and like government background in things, and then you
Yeah.
have like a, like I would say like a very different way of approaching how we all talk about like consciousness or healing and just like wellness and like the mind body like experience.
Yeah.
And so like two very different, you know, like just I would say like people or perspectives even, and they're not
Right.
Christian at all. and
Right.
and
Right.
and so then being able to like converge the concepts of like what you were just talking about in like channeling and all that stuff, I feel like I've learned a lot recently on accident about
Or is it?
yeah, literally. My FBI agent has been listening, so on YouTube I'm getting all these videos about how like you're physiologically like not real, like quantum mechanics, and how like you just, and so then you said earthly and all these other things. I'm like, oh my god, like it's just like all of these dominoes, ones and zeros everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that I appreciate with Tucker, and I really want to pick his brain on a lot of things, because in my library, I keep looking to my left when I refer to that because it is to my left, a portion of it. Some of it's still packed away in totes, and it really frustrates me. But because I had to dig this one out of a tote. Anyways, I have books about the quantum physics and quantum, like all of that. And I've tried to read it, but my brain just cannot, I don't know. Like, I need a translator to read that. And so I feel like I would love to listen to Tucker speak like that. I know the things that he's talking about, but I really have no, it's probably just gonna be me listening to him because my brain doesn't think like that. But I'm sure I'll be able to pick something up and I could give like an energetic perspective to that. So I too think it would be a fascinating conversation. But I really liked this, like, my first thought was when I was looking at free will was like, okay, is it free will? Like I've always thought in my brain, right? And again, I talked about it yesterday a little bit about probably the first time I ever heard about free will was when I did go to church and I was, in the organized religion realm of things. Even in this book, like it was more rooted in like a religious tone or like God tone. But then I started thinking about like, well, okay, well, is it actual free will? Like, how do we even, I don't even know if I can articulate this. Like, are we calling it free will or is it really conditioning? And then I think that's why I loved that idea of like layers, because I think it depends on your conscious awareness. And I think it very much can feel conditioned, right? Like it's from childhood conditioning, it's from your experiences, your trauma responses, it could be from society and culture, like all these things. And then it's like, but do we ever ask ourselves, like, why am I choosing this? Right? Or like, whose voice do I hear when I'm choosing this? And this is something I have told my children when they were trying to make big life decisions. And of course, I always have an opinion. And I'm very different as mom than I am like friend or coach or podcast guest, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I can get a little more like motherly or like protective.
yeah,
Like that mom hat comes out.
yeah.
And I'll just bring it to one specific time was when my son was deciding whether he should leave his job or not and take a chance on this totally other job.
Mm,
Not even the same, like it was still going to be heavy machine operating in a
mm,
way, but it was a
mhm.
totally different, like he was at the construction company here in town. a good company, like, and I thought like there's stability and there's like all of that. And I'm like, oh gosh, Hunter, I'm like, are you sure you want to do that? So of course I gave my opinion, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure his father had an opinion and, grandparents and friends and whomever. And I could just tell it was like stressing him out. And we were kind of talking about that, and of course our son wants to be like a good son and people please and like, he doesn't want to hurt people or piss people off or whatever. And finally I was just like, I took my mom hat off for a minute. I'm like, okay, well, but what would you say if this was a client, right? And so I told him quite simply, I'm like, drown out the noise, Hunter. Like, take your dog for a walk, go and, like either out on the farm or up to Sugarloaf or like wherever. You and Kyrie take a long walk together, sit with Kyrie and like drown out the voices. Don't hear mine, don't hear dad's, don't hear all the people that love and care about him, right? Like connect with your own inner voice, the one that is connected to the divine, right? I go there and then make your decision and then follow through with it. How can you go wrong, right? If you are trusting yourself and you're coming from a place of love and you're not doing something, you mentioned it in that little snippet today, right? Like, don't make an emotional decision, right? Get the emotion out of it, get some clarity, feel grounded in it, and then choose what you want to do. Well, he chose what he wanted to do, which was exactly what his mother told him not to do. And he quit the job and went for this new one. Got the job, and the kid, seriously, it's the best thing he's ever done. He is so happy. Like, I have seen a side of my son that I have never seen before. And it's so fun to watch him, like, I don't know, like just experience life in that way. And it was he was trusting his own gut, his own inner voice, that heart, right? I think that was a free will decision. I don't think it was coming from a conditioning of some sort. I think if he would have stayed and he would have listened to what everyone was telling him. So that's kind of the story I had in mind when I was like exploring this a little bit more. And then I just thought it was amazing, like it's kind of fun to toy around with it. I don't know. Any thoughts? I did a lot of talking.
I think your ending confuses me a little because I would say that it's because of his conditioning that he was exercising free will. He was able to make those choices.
Yes, I agree with you. Because conditioning, maybe, right? Or could it even be something like he was given permission to not people please? I don't know that I've ever told my kids, do what feels right to you. Don't listen to me. I don't think those words ever came out of my mouth as a mom. It's like, I know best and do what you're told. And then if you don't, and then you screw up or something doesn't work out, I get to do the I told you so dance. And I felt like at least from the intention of me, like maybe you're right. Maybe there's still a hint of conditioning there, but I don't know that even Hunter had experienced that before coming from anyone. To say, don't listen to all the people that love and care about you. I don't think I don't know.
But it had, so the only reason I would argue that is because there's the there's the conditioning of how somebody is shaped into people pleasing, and then there's the conditioning of how does he even listen to what his own inner voice is saying, right? And that struggle to want to shape your own self feels like risk and adventure and this sought out, I want to create an identity that's mine and not everybody else's, right? And
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
it's that pushback of like, I'm going to create something, and and I was given permission to now just do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think definitely. I think there, and maybe here's the thing too. Maybe it's
So wait,
all
hold
of
on.
it. Maybe it is layered.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was curious if maybe I wasn't tracking you right. Like, do you feel like that there's a difference between like the conditioning and the free will? Because I would say your argument was the like because of the layer of consciousness, you then get to, I think, in the lack of vocabulary words or how to put it, you get to exercise your free will to take risks, take chances, or to level up into a new sense of consciousness.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think here's a question. First of all, I don't know the answer to that. Second of all, but I can answer answer it with a question if I can. Maybe it's always going to be a combination of both,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you would be able to tell me more about the how the mind works and the psychology and probably go deeper into how conditioning actually forms things like that, but I do believe like at the end of the day if we get quiet enough and quiet the noise, we do have an inner voice that we can connect with that is our unconscious or our subconscious or like I'm saying like the direction I was hoping he went with was like that one where you're trusting your gut instinct. It's the one that you are born with. And for me, energetically, I think of that as like the divine light that's always connected to source. And if we get really quiet and we practice, like I think when we're born, we're very connected to that inner voice. And then as from day one that you're born, and some would maybe even argue as you're in utero, the conditioning's already started, right? But again, from the energetic perspective, I feel like no matter what our conditioning is on the outside world, we're always deeply connected to the spiritual, the mystic, the energy, the life source, universe, God, whatever you want to call it. And the more human we get, the more disconnected we become from that.
I feel like I have so many puzzle pieces that I'm like, I don't even know if we're working on the same puzzle. This is awesome. Like, can you
But
put a
but
3D
I
puzzle
do.
together? But because
But
I think it was with you that we had talked about, I think it was with you about the concept of like, if you're a recycled soul and then being able to pick your parents. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
did.
So that's where, and then also the thing with like before, like while you're in utero, like being connected to that source and that kind of stuff, I definitely could see and agree with, because they've proven that when a baby like comes out of utero, like the things that mom like said or did or experienced, right? Like the baby has those reactions, or the baby instantly already knows mom's voice, right? Like there's so many things that a baby knows immediately before it's even out of utero,
Yeah. But
so
then that same being, that same little person, right? And you had to have experienced this at some point in your life. I would argue if someone says, I've never, where you just innately know something and you have no clue to how or why you would know it.
do you think that that has to do with that gut feeling, like gut,
Yeah,
trust your gut,
100%.
that kind of stuff?
Now here's another fun little story.
Tell me
And I
more.
wanted to share it yesterday, but I'm like, nope, nope, nope. This is when little Willow she had to have been 2 because her and Ayla are like 3, almost 4 years apart. So, and I used to watch Willow, Wednesdays with Willow is what we called it.
Cool.
And I watched her on Wednesdays. And one time we were playing, and Willow from the minute she popped out, I swear that girl could talk. Like, and she had a killer vocabulary like no other 2-year-old. And you could understand her. It wasn't like baby talk. I'm like, wow. Okay, whatever. Like, I thought my kids were like, wow. And then she was like, wow. And then like Ayla's like super wow. And anyways. That doesn't matter. That's just me
Might
being
be
grandma.
bias, yeah.
Yeah, that might be a little. I'm being weird now. But this actually did happen, and it was of no influence of me. And I don't think it could have been influenced by her mom and dad, because when I told them the story, they were just as shocked as I was. And I still have this drawing. So we're playing in her playroom at my old house, the one that Hunter now has. And we were playing doctor or vet. I can't remember. It was kind of like the same. Sometimes I was an animal and sometimes I was a person. She was always the vet, always the doctor. But she has this little clipboard, like this big. It was like this, with a little blank piece of paper and a pencil. And she told me what to draw. And she told me to draw her laying down on a bed. No, she's 2. Laying down on a bed. And then draw a picture of her up above looking down at herself sleep. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, I had a dream like that last night, Grandma. Where she was watching herself sleep. So when Tucker was talking about like remote viewing and like astral projection and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, do I? Yeah. Yeah. So I told Carly and Brody about it, and Carly and Brody are pretty mystical in their own way too, like, and very magical, but both of them are like, how? Now, little Willow, her first birthday, lands on the same exact day as when my grandmother passed away. So Willow was 1 when my grandma passed away. I have a little turtle that sits in my office right over there. That's probably like this big. Well, you can't see. I don't know if you can see it. I'm this big on my screen, so I don't know if you can see it or not.
No.
But anyways, I don't know.
Like a
I'm really
foot?
bad at measuring, maybe a foot and a half, 2 feet. I don't know. A ruler
Big.
and a half, maybe.
Yeah, a ruler and a half.
But I bought that for my grandma. And so when she passed away, I got the turtle back. Now, that little turtle I put in my living room by the door. And I am a collector also of rocks and seashells. Okay. So one day, little Willow was playing with my little seashells, and she starts to feed the turtle the seashells. Now, again, this little girl is 2. And I said, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm feeding Myrtle the turtle. I said, what? We used to call my grandma Myrt, the one that passed away on her first birthday, Myrtle the turtle, because her name was Muriel and she went by Myrt. And then that was Grandma Myrt's turtle, because my grandma collected little figurine turtles. I know, I got goosebumps. I don't know if you can't see them, but she's 2. How would she know that? This digresses. This has nothing to do with free will.
But it has to do with consciousness, right?
Right.
And
That's where we were headed. Yeah.
and being connected to like the inner. I would say like in general, we all have like a sense of consciousness that's connected, right?
Yeah.
And some of this stuff, I don't know if you've heard of David Bear.
David Bear.
But I've been watching him a bit on YouTube, and I feel like he finally like helped me connect some of the puzzle pieces that I've been thinking about and putting together. It's just this concept of like, okay, if you create your reality, if you shape your own reality, but okay, like I'm not creating the war in Iran, I'm not creating, all these horrible things, but if we all as a collective are creating, because we have main character syndrome, right? Like, and we're all connected, then we all are creating those things,
I
right?
do believe we are too.
And
I'm with him.
yeah. So then okay, so then I just, for the sake of this video, right?
Yeah.
So I have an argument, and granted, I'm not Hearst on the Bible, and the Christians will nail me to the cross for it, but I have this concept that I am just now stuck on this idea that like I don't think that people go to hell. I think I don't know what is there or who
I
is
agree with
there
you.
or what is that development. I don't know anything about that, but I don't think that the divine producer or a god or whoever who knows you at birth and knows the plan for you and has all of the plans and all of the things is going to punish you for the lesson that you're learning here on earth.
Yeah, I agree with you on that 100 and bazillion%. I am also not very well versed on this subject of religion. Um, but I'm pretty sure he talks about something like this in this book too. And I do a lot of reading on spiritual stuff, and so I'm pretty sure it's him, but it could be someone else. And this is why I wanted to be a little more prepared so that I could give resources to people. Um, I agree, and where I picked it up, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm not this brilliant that I would have thought this on my own. Like, I'm pretty sure I picked this up somewhere, either in reading a book or listening to a podcast or something, and listening to a spiritual leader of sorts, right? Like, I believe it is true when I heard that that is a man-made construct, and it goes to good and bad and heaven and earth. Like, you need to have the
Yin and
opposites, the
yang.
dualities,
Yeah.
right? Because you want to put the God-fearing whatever into people. You want people to
To
be
behave. Yeah.
to behave and all of that. But all of these things, and even in this book, like, I grew up Lutheran, and so I was in confirmation class or catechism or whatever it was called. And I remember learning about the 10 Commandments. And Tucker even talked about them a little bit yesterday, too. This book switches that, and it's the 10 Commitments. And I started thinking about that when I read this book, of like the whole concept of even taking the Bible, right? The Bible, and all types of different, not all religions, but multiple religions use that same book, but they have a different interpretation of it. And then even Catholics, I think this, right? Like, they've even created their own laws within the church that are outside of the Bible, right? And that I do believe in good and bad. I do believe that there is like light and darkness and all that, but I too don't believe that somehow we go beneath the earth into this fire pit with this evil looking devil thing. I don't know, right? Like, I don't think hell is like that. I would question too, like, but does anyone really get sent there? Because at the end of the day, if we're all children of God, aren't we all like created in image of him, and therefore we're already forgiven of all sins? And like, so what's the purpose of, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Well,
So I agree with you.
and I think but though so that's where I think like the conversation about free will gets so interesting for me is because I think then people use the argument of like, well, you have free will and so then, it's not that it was his plan for you to murder all those people, right? Or, it's not his plan, then like why did Hitler do what he did? Or my husband always points towards like, then why do kids have cancer, right? Like there's like so many things that like I think people just uses as a cop out instead of the level of consciousness that you're like bringing up and the conditioning of the concepts of like, well, like actually like if you like bring in all context to any and all of those things, it actually makes a lot of sense, right?
Right.
And so being able to understand, like I had pointed out, we recently had dinner over at a new set of friends of ours, and I had told him, I was like, there are just certain things. He was like trying to ask us about like faith and all this stuff. And I was like, I think my faith had been like turned upside down when somebody really started pointing out that like God doesn't see like my sin is greater than your sin or any of those kinds of things. It's like all sin is equal, right?
Right. Sin's a
It,
sin.
right, exactly. So then, and like what bothered me when I first heard that was it was like, so now me dropping the F bomb is the same as Karen cheating on her husband or Hitler killing
Murdering
all those
someone.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I was like, that's
Well,
the
in the eyes
obscenity.
of the Lord with unconditional love, yep.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I think people just use like hell as like a cop out of like, well, like no, like it's not appropriate. Like once you know Jesus and you know the Bible, like it's absolutely not appropriate for you to sin or do all these other things. And I'm like, there's no way. First of all, okay, no one religion knows all of the answers. I love Christianity, but no one religion, not the Jews, the Muslims, Christianity, not one has all the divine answers, which is why we are all at war. We all don't know anything. And if it was so easy to know the answers, then we all wouldn't be at war and have a question.
Exactly.
But I can tell you right now, I've read the Bible a few times and I'm still confused.
I've never read it. Not from page to like cover to cover. I've
Mm-hmm.
read tidbits.
Yeah, yeah. But so it's like I can't spend all of my life and all of my days reading, how does Greek mythology or Greek, words and language like interpret any of the Hebrew words and what was the context and whose story was this and that and trying to like put it all together in order to be this perfect Christian to do all the things, right? Or then the less on my end to
Right.
tell you how to live, how to do your things,
Right.
right? Like that's not.
Right.
I just let people do you, boo, because I'm gonna try to figure out how to do me.
I know when I have it figured out, maybe, just maybe, I'll be great enough that I can actually tell people what to do. But oh my God, I am like, I got a lot of work to do. I don't have it figured out. I do know, just from personal experience, the more I allow myself to have an open mind and to hear
Mm-hmm.
different perspectives, even ones that I know are like, I don't know that, but I find it curious and I find it valuable because I need to hear things and think about things for my own,
Yeah.
right? Like for my own growth and for my own forming of my own beliefs and truths and all of that. And I don't know. And I feel like by doing that, it has opened the door for me to have more compassion and love for people and coming out of judgment. And then in turn, giving myself more love and compassion and less judgment. And to me, that feels a lot better
Mm-hmm.
than being in hate and judgment. It's not my job to judge, right? Like, that's one of the things that I can gladly give to someone greater than myself. I would hate to sit and say, well, you said the F word, Elise. Nope, you gotta go down there. C'est la vie, burn, burn, baby, burn.
Burn.
Yeah. And I don't know. I do think it's fascinating, but I don't know. I think free will, like, again, I think that's why I loved the layered approach and to bring
Yeah.
it back to free will. And maybe that is exactly, if I'm understanding what you're suggesting, what Hunter did, right? Like, he took free will, a conditioned free will, and maybe he started there. And I don't know. I've never asked him what his actual process was. I don't think I even asked him if he actually took the walk that I suggested he take. I don't know. All I know is that he made a decision to leave that construction company and started with this one, and he's been the happiest he's ever been. How he got there, I have no idea.
Have you
But
told
I
him
do know
about this observation that you have of him?
no, but I think I
Should
will.
now. Yeah.
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 Like, so Carly and I will have, my daughter, her and I have conversations like this all the time. And sometimes we would try with Hunter and it just wasn't landing the same. And so we're like, whatever. And now that kid, I don't know what happened, but wow, like he can come, he now has like such deep insights. And I don't know if it was just him feeling like, I don't know. I don't know what changed for him. In fact, I think I did mention one time something about like, wow, like that was pretty profound. And he's like, well, I do spend a lot of time on the road because he travels a lot for work. And so he's got to occupy his time with something as he's driving and keep himself awake. And so whatever he's been listening to, it's really expanded his mind and the way that he's thinking of things. And I think, that's the other thing about all of this stuff. Like, I will always encourage people, don't just listen to what I'm putting out there. Like, research, ingest other people's messages. I don't know. I just find that really, really important because I think it expands your mind even more in so many different ways. And so it's like if someone just listens to one person or one TV station or one radio station or one magazine or newspaper or whatever, like, ugh, that kind of makes me creep a little bit. It's like, maybe though, what happens if you opened up your mind just a little bit to hear something that isn't what you've been ingesting this whole time? And then trust your gut. That's the biggest one. I do a lot of that in coaching, right? Like connecting back to that inner gut wisdom. We innately, and it's my belief, we innately know already what we need to do. And sometimes when we listen to that little gut wisdom, that intuition, whatever you want to call it, sometimes it's really hard to listen to it because we get scared, like, okay, but if I listen to it, we're scared of what we have to do in order to listen to it. But I do agree with just like Neil when with his conversation that, all right, well, if you didn't listen to that little voice this time, I'm going to give you another opportunity, another opportunity. And I talk about that in coaching all the time. Like, just make a decision today for today. Try it on. If it resonates with you and it feels good and that's what you want to do, great. If not, pivot. Just do it again. Because life is great like that. Life is very forgiving. If you don't make the decision that is for your highest good, you will get another opportunity to make it happen. Until that message is so loud you can't ignore it anymore.
Yes, because it's yes. Yes. I can't say yes enough because um I think that's why like especially I don't know if you're on like a lot of like real content or if it's just my news feed, but there's like an audio that like was really popular or has been really popular lately that's like break the pattern today or it'll repeat tomorrow. Break the pattern today or it'll repeat tomorrow. And it's like it's so like evident that like you're the reason you're choosing to spin your wheels, and if you choose something else, like it's okay because you're just
It's
trying
okay.
to break the wheel, the cycle, like and it'll be fine, like you can
Yeah.
where you're supposed to go. And I think that stuff is so interesting to me when it comes to like you're saying like free will is like a level of consciousness, but now I want to introduce this whole like concept that I've been understanding a little bit more of in like the scientific concepts of patterns and the way things repeat. So like history always repeats itself, right? And so some science would suggest that you don't have a choice because scientifically you only had so many outcomes to begin with because of the conditioning.
Okay, this is something we talked about before too, where I can understand that belief. I'm not sure that that's the only belief in that though.
Yeah. Well,
Like
and I could
that
be
could be
partially
like
wrong.
that could be like the first step, right? But I think there's something more that can happen and oftentimes does happen because I've seen it happen where people will choose differently at some point. They do break patterns at some point. They do evolve. They do transform. Now, if you only thought that's as far as you could go in your choice making, and now you want to be playing small, thinking I'm just doomed, right? Like there's nothing else I can do about it. Now I just got to accept it. I think there's a lot of people that hang out for a long time in that realm,
So I'm not
you know?
saying that they would get stuck or anything. It's that like even like Elon Musk situation where he's like super successful and has all these kids and does all this stuff, right? Like it's of course in his situation and all the variables that took place, there's this idea, and I wish I could remember who it's from or how I could find it now. I'll have to do research for our conversation with Tucker. But it's just this concept that like scientifically, out of all of the variables and all the possible outcomes, because of human behavior, of course Elon Musk owns Twitter or is developing rockets or is doing these things. And then, of course he's going to go on and do X, Y, and Z, whatever that is. You know what I mean? Like it's
Because he doesn't put self-limiting beliefs on him, which is why I use that word stuck. For the person that's not doing all these grandiose things, they're the people that are still sleeping on a cold pavement every night and don't have anything to eat, right? Like, I don't say that flippantly. Like, I know that that's some people's reality, but some people might who aren't living the Elon Musk life, right? They're living the contrast to that, which is the down and outs, right? The rags to riches, right? Some people might get stuck in the thought like they can't because scientifically, right? If you want to use that word, there's nothing I can do to change my situation. I don't have choice. I don't have free will. There's nothing I can do to make my situation better because my mom lived here, my grandpa lived here, my great grandfather lived here. We all lived with nothing.
I understand what
And
you're
maybe I'm
saying,
not
but I
understanding
think
what you're
I
saying.
was gonna say I'm gonna have to look it up. There was something, I swear, I don't know if it was a book or a video. I'm gonna have to look it up, but it was like it was it was this point of view that was like, I wanna say, and I could be absolutely wrong, but it's that like it was like very very scientific. So there's no god, there's no higher divine, there's no other source, one source. It was that very science, mathematics, like because of x plus y, this is
Yeah,
the out.
I think I am understanding what you're
Okay.
saying, and I'm not in agreement with what they're saying. I do believe, though, that there is people that are walking around that will never challenge that scientific thing because of all the reasons you just said, because they don't believe in something greater than,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and they're just stuck in science.
Mm.
And if they can't see it, touch it, feel it, experience it, blah, 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 it cannot happen. I think that there are people that operate on that level of consciousness that's going to keep them there.
I see what you're
Do you see
saying.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they don't believe that there's something other than this, what the science tangibly has been proven. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like I just like made you think about something.
Kind of, yes, but no, all in the same realm, right? Like if you
So
took
tell
a
me the yes.
yes,
What do you,
I understand what you're saying. I think we're both talking about a dog, but I think your dog is somehow a Chihuahua and mine is a Great Dane. And
that's a great way to put it.
so I'm like, I understand that we are both talking about ears and legs and hair, But I think there's something here that we're just not, because I
Yeah.
understand what you're
But
saying about like scientifically they're stuck, right? Because they don't believe, because that higher consciousness. But what I'm trying to tell you is get rid of even the concept of consciousness, because that would allow you to have this idea of free will, right? Like the thing from the science that I was listening to or had heard about was um like everything was scientific, and like it's a proven fact. So like if I had an ice cube in my hand and we're sitting out in the, it's like 70 degrees in my house, of course the ice is going to melt into water. Okay.
mhm.
N- and what they're saying is like, I am the ice cube, of course I'm going to be super famous and be doing my podcasts.
Yeah.
Because of all the different variables that are occurring, that this is, I might not know the future or the path, but because of the direction of which, I don't know, like molecules or atoms or vibrations, or I don't know, the way things interact with each other or lack of interaction with each
Mhm.
other occur, that of course
Okay.
those are the outcomes.
So then riddle me this. If that's true, which I do believe to an extent that perception is true. It very much could be true and valid.
I have no idea.
My question is though, is there not another ice cube in your house experiencing the same environment that doesn't have the same trajectory as that other ice cube?
Like that wouldn't melt
Right,
in the same environment.
right. Like you're talking about that ice cube, and I'm saying, well, what about the ice cube right next to them? That's has the same environment, has the same makeup, is exactly the same. Because if that was the case, then why are we not all Elon Musk? Why are we all not that? Why are we all not that ice cube?
So your argument is because obviously these things are occurring, then we should all reach the highest level of conscientiousness.
Yes.
But you
Or whatever
can't.
that scientist is saying.
Right. But well, see, now I need to go learn in order for us to all have a discussion about this, because clearly I don't know what I'm talking about.
But I do think there are people that operate just like that.
So I would argue that is how I would say, like, if we were to really bring in the tinfoils, I would say that's how multi-dimensional or like other universes then occur, right? Because you, in this dimension where we are in this universe right here in this time and space, of course I'm making this outcome from X plus Y. Of course the ice cube is melting. But in a parallel universe or a parallel dimension,
But that
time,
scientist guy doesn't believe in that, right?
well, so I mean, like parallel universes and times and dimensions, I think still is in that wheelhouse, because it doesn't include, like, I would assume if somebody said like God or a higher being, a oneness, a source of oneness, that do they are, I'm unaware if Christians believe that there are multiple dimensions or multiple universes, and there's like a parallel me doing something. Oh, jeez Louise.
Right?
Probably,
I
but
mean, I do Reiki, right? Energy work. And there are some devout Christians of I don't know what denomination, but many of them are like, that's the devil's work. Okay. There is nothing, I'm not here to change their mind. I'm not here
mhm,
to convince them otherwise because
mhm.
they've already made their mind. And if they are going to someday open their mind to a possibility of like something like maybe it's not the devil's work, Because what do they think their God is? God's energy. We're all
Yes.
energy. Your energy,
Yes.
this is energy. Like,
Yes.
we've had that conversation before too. So I just let people stay in that box until they're ready to come out. But
Definitely
here's
ready
the
to come
thing,
out.
like, but here's the thing, like, and I will say this to myself, depending on who the person is, I might mention it, that meet yourself where you're currently at. And if something is telling you not to do Reiki because it's the devil's work, honor it. But I will give you this to think about if you want. There is a reason why our paths cross. And maybe just explore why might that be. And then I give them free will to make their own decision. And they may stick in their childhood conditioning or their religious conditioning, and never ever will they ever reach back out to me. And I say, fine, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's
And so yeah.
sorry.
Mm, no,
That's where I feel like so conflicted as a counselor, because I think there's so much. First of all, school is an absolute scam. There's so much that you don't learn in school about counseling and energy and just psychology, mind control, like all of this actual stuff that for 6 years would have been way more helpful than some of the garbage I had been put through. That I was like, this, none of that prepared me for what I have now. And understanding, like, my nervous system in a room can control somebody else's nervous system, right? Like, that concept alone, whether you're EMDR, Reiki, or, brain spotting,
yeah,
CBD,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
that alone, pardon my
Okay.
French, but like fucks with your mind when it comes to what is in control.
So then, riddle me this. If you had a conversation with whomever has that idea about the scientific
Science stuff, yeah.
thing
Yeah.
with the ice cube,
Yeah.
with Elon or like
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
then I would pose that same thing. And that's how you get a variable. Because unless that ice cube is in complete isolation, where, well, and one could even argue that even in isolation, they are being the ripple effect. They will feel the energy around them. I don't know. Yeah.
See,
But
now
somebody thinks that's true.
I'm
And
gonna have to
and
go
and
learn.
and that's as far as they're gonna go. And guess what? Maybe that was their life purpose and plan.
Mm-hmm.
That they were only supposed to get
Cycle
that
through for
far.
that. Yeah. Yep.
And I will honor it, and I'm not gonna try to debunk their thought or theory on that. Like, that's not my job either. And I say mine, I just mean, like, generally speaking. Like, I think that's part of the free will thing, right? Like, people are entitled to have their own truths and beliefs. I have not walked a day in their shoes. Of course, I'm going to have a totally different mindset because my experience is so different.
Right. So to bring this all back before we get done with our conversation here, do you think that it is because of a level of consciousness that, specifically for the people that I'm trying to help in my founders club, that they are not able to reach the free will to address what their future, I don't know, like legacy, if you were, or capabilities, unlock their full potential because they're stuck in present day spinning?
I would love to say to you, could you repeat the question, please? But I don't know if you could.
I can. I wonder if it's because of a level of consciousness that business owners who are stuck in present day spinning aren't able to exercise their free will on what their future legacy is supposed to be, or how they're supposed to be living it out, what they're supposed to be doing. Because I run into so many business owners who are like Mandy or like Tucker, where they're like, I'm so busy today. I can't do, my day blew up. My day got away from me. I just can't catch a breath. Right. And it's just this level, I would say it's a level of consciousness. It's not a negative thing, but it's a level of consciousness that they're willing to accept because they're not exercising their free will to be in alignment with their value of what legacy they're leaving behind.
When you pose it like that last little blurb, I would say yes.
Okay.
My original answer was no.
Okay.
Not no, like I don't think it has anything to do with level of consciousness. The reason I would have said no was because I think it's more than that. Because I think I do know that there are people that, oh, how do I say this? Not in a, I say this with love and compassion because
Yes.
I believe all levels of consciousness are necessary and valid and everything. Like, and I can respect it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do know that there are a lot of successful people who are very unaware and probably at a lower level of consciousness, and they're more about the material world, that they're just, I mean, it's just success. Like,
We're not even,
it,
my husband said this to me last night. Heather, and I swear to you, I was like, it finally clicked for me. He was like, talking kind of like what you're talking about, and we were talking about somebody that we both know, and he's like, I'm just in a different reality. Like that's not even a conception of an idea for me. And he said that before in the past, and I was like, yeah, probably not. Like you're Marine, whatever. And like last night for some odd reason, it like really clicked in me that I was like, no, 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 no. His trajectory and his literal reality, because he shapes it around him, is so beyond different. And the energy and the vibration that he gives off is so different that this other person that we're talking about doesn't have that same level of consciousness, of free will, to even be able to hold his reality.
yeah, yeah. Mic drop.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was so shook when he said that. Except for he doesn't know all the conversations that we've been having, so I was like, only Heather will understand.
But here's the thing, isn't this the creepy thing too? Like, I think of the first day that we met and talked. Like, look at look at the people you're attracting, the conversations that you're attracting. I didn't know you before I knew you, right? So I don't really
Yeah.
know what that was. But something tells me that things have shifted. And not because you're necessarily seeking it out. It's just you're attracting it. Because if your husband has never said something like that before, and it was so mind-blowing to you, given how unaligned that was with our conversation yesterday or the ones that we've been having more regularly, like, that isn't by accident. It is all about frequency and it is all about vibration. And that's why I'm saying I don't even know if you have to be consciously aware to do that. Your energy you need to be attracting that vibrationally with your own frequency. Like Joe Dispenza says this, right? Like, change your energy, change your life. Somebody who is
Yes.
totally unconscious but has like that energy about them,
Yes.
fuck, they got it all.
Yes.
And it never occurred to them to think that they couldn't.
Yes. Yes. And I just don't, I tell you what, Heather, I don't understand. And I feel like I feel this to my core to some degree with some of my clients, but so some of my clients and maybe some of yours have battled this too, but this concept of like being enough or having enough, not like physical things, but like
Yeah.
mentally in that,
Yeah.
in maybe like that depth of consciousness is actually maybe what's we're in line with. And that's where I feel like I've been so thirsty to grow in my depth of conception and understanding and psychology that I'm like, I barely understand how I'm breathing right now. Like,
See? And now to me, that I would suggest to you,
yeah,
ponder it,
tell me.
that is that inner thing I'm talking about. Because you don't know
Oh,
why, like you've got this
no.
thirst, but you're just
Yeah.
like thirsty for it.
Yeah.
Nobody conditioned you to be thirsty for it.
No.
Something innate is happening and you are trusting, and now
Yeah.
you're doing it.
Yeah. But I've like had consultations, like especially when I was like going to school, I had several consultations with people of like you know, older therapists and more experienced people who just like felt like those people who feel like it's never enough are like so hard to therapize. And
Right?
and I didn't really quite understand it, and I've had one of those clients who was very well knowledge, had very much a lot of understanding of religion and philosophy and psychology, and yet still felt like he was never doing enough or being enough, right? Could always do more. And I didn't like fully understand that, and except for now I think I understand it, but I'm able to hold space for the concept that I'm okay with where I am. Like
Yeah.
I'm not in that place of like I hate myself or I don't like what I'm doing or there's like I don't know, self-doubt, self-hatred, you know, those negative things.
Yeah. So here, these are some questions, right? And it fits in alignment, I think, with what you're just saying. Like when somebody is thinking that way, like the challenging people that you're talking about, that therapists are saying it's really hard to therapize them. If that client or patient, whatever, how you refer to them, that person asks some questions, right? Like which layer, now again, thinking of the layer of free will and conditioning, what layer is actually speaking right now? And this was what I think I was trying to say to Hunter, because he was thinking of that condition, that psychological and social
Yeah.
layer in his decision making. But also, there was a point in my own journey where I was in a really, really deep, dark depression. Like I had suicide letters written to my, or goodbye letters written to my kids to say goodbye. Like I was done. And at some point I just had like this thing wash over me, right? And it was like, there's something more, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now if I would have just taken that as just like, I don't know, like that question,
Yeah.
that came from that inner light,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
It didn't come from like the outside conditioning that there's something more. So those people that are saying that it's just never enough, never enough, I would start asking those types of questions like, how do they know it's not enough? Like, do they hear a voice when they say that? Is that an inner dialogue thing, or is that actually what they're really trying to communicate? Is their inner voice saying you're meant for more,
Mm.
right? And so I would get really curious with questions. And like, yeah, I don't know. I just get goosebumps and I just keep going and going. And that's how, right? That's an indicator to me that I'm doing exactly what I am supposed to be doing. I'm on the path, because I get super, well, watch the freaking videos of me. Like I go ballistic in these, right? Like I love it. It's easy. I lose time doing it. I'm like, oh my gosh, yesterday I was on one for 3 hours, right?
It was so good.
And I got off the call and I went downstairs and I was just like buzzing, and I'm like, whoo, like I'm super excited. It energizes me like that. If something exhausts me, no. And to your point of your little message today on that little snippet about you won't even work a Saturday for $1 million, I wanted to be a smartass and like, not even for $1 million, because I think I would even work a Saturday for $1 million.
So
I know what you're saying, but I was being flippant. Go ahead. What?
No, and I understand, like, but if the thing, like, so I've been trying to put out that energy that I have $1 million. I make $1 million. I am successful. My time is very worthy, very valuable, right? So I've been trying to put that out there. But like not even for $1 million would take away the time and energy that would hurt my husband, right? Because now you're asking me like it would I choose $1 million over my husband. And
Exactly.
my
And it
husband's
goes to
priceless.
that whole point
Yeah.
of knowing your values
Yeah.
and letting them be your anchors. I agree with you 100% on that. And I am not suggesting you work on a Saturday for $1 million. Quite honestly, for as much as I would love to have $1 million, I'm with you. I'm worth way more than $1 million. If you're willing to pay $1 million on a Saturday, you'll be willing to pay $1 million on a Monday.
True.
And if not, then I'm not your person.
Not your person.
And then that means I'm making room for someone that's willing to pay me $2 million on a Monday.
Look at that.
Bam.
That's good money.
Free will.
That's how you rub those hundos together.
I can't believe I said that. I'm such an idiot.
So good.
But that's the stuff. That's the stuff that just, I don't know. I'm weird like that.
What are you gonna name your journals?
Excuse me?
You said that you want to create
Oh, that
journals.
I'm writing?
Yeah.
Like to sell.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. See, now I'm a smartass again. I was gonna name it maybe because I always say, well, maybe. No, I don't know. I have a list of potential titles for lots of books. Why? Do you have an idea of what I should name it?
Journey.
Why are you asking?
Journey.
Journey.
The journey.
You know what's really funny? Can I tell you a quick story? So I think I told you this. I used to go to the Virgin. Well, I'm already started, so I can't just stop at the word virgin. People will be like, what?
Guys, have a good rest of your day. Thank you, Heather, for your time and your consideration. What's your story? Tell me.
So I used to go to the Virgin Islands like every year with a group of students when I was at the college. And then COVID happened and we no longer do that. But I had gone a couple times after that on my own, either by myself or with my husband. Anyways, I digress. 2012. Was it 2012 or 2015? I'm bad at years and time. It was one of those 2 years though.
You're earthly.
Yes. I went to the islands and I wanted to get a necklace for myself and then my 2 sisters. I got 2 sisters and a brother. I'm the baby. No one ever guessed me to be the youngest either, which probably because I'm more mature. I'm the more mature one and I'm the tallest one. If they're listening to this, they're going to be like yelling at me. You're not more mature. I proved my point. Anyways, so I wanted to get these necklaces for me and my sisters and have them matching as sisters. And I bought them a bracelet 1 year too. But the necklace is where I'm headed with this. So it was a silver charm, and I'm not wearing it today. I'll wear it sometime. And I had the word journey inscribed on the back for all of us girls. I don't even know why I picked journey. I really don't. Like something just was like journey. Okay. And so I'm sure my sisters were, this is corny, but whatever. I don't know. They liked it because it was from their sister. And it's cute. I don't know. Fast forward then to 2017 when I was naming my first business. And I'm like, I don't know what to name it. And a friend of mine, really good friend of mine, I love her to death. She's like, what about Journeys with Heather? Or Journeys by Heather or like whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah. So that one stuck. And then one day I went in because I totally forgot about this necklace. And one day I went in my little jewelry thing and I found it and I'm like, oh, I'm going to wear this. And then I saw the word journey behind it. And I'm like, see, it's like little things like that.
Nuggets.
That I'm like, now that sealed the deal. And that's how Journeys was named. So I don't know what my journals will be titled, but I could see journeys being appropriate.
What would you title the book that's for like your studies? Like you said that like that talks about how you do everything.
Well, I don't know. I have to look at my little notes. The one title, and I don't think I do know for sure what title belongs to this one book. I haven't found which one I want to use for those books you're talking about. But remember the book I told you about that I want to compile like all my clients' stories into one book? That one I want to call, I don't even know if I should say it. Like, should I say it?
Why?
Well, someone steals it, and it might already be, but it is what it is. Muted colors. I know. And so then I feel like I have to explain what that means. And then therefore, maybe it's not a good title. It's kind of like the joke thing. If you got to explain the joke, it's not funny. If you laugh at it first, it's still not funny. But I always feel like, I think the reason why I like that title for that was kind of to what you're saying. Like, so many people think they're not enough, or so many people play small, or they put those self-limiting beliefs. And so we mute our vibrant color, right? And so all of these clients that have come to me thus far, for it's not hot right now, but they all had a muted color about them, right? And the more that they did the work, the brighter and the stronger, and all, like, now they're brilliant, right? And they're just like these radiating beams of light out in the world. That had nothing to do with me. That was them doing their own inner work, right? I just asked really good questions. But I think that's why I liked muted colors, because I think that's how they all came. There was just like this dullness, right? They knew that there was something more. The other ones I don't know yet, but I have like a list. I'll share the list with you, and then you can tell me. You can help me name it. I always have to have, well, that's how Journeys was. I already told you how Halo was named. So I think I told you that story. Didn't I tell you?
I think so. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Covered a lot. We've talked a lot.
So now you won't talk to me not till Friday.
Yeah. Yep.
But I won't be on a podcast again until the 17th,
Really?
right? Isn't that what we said?
Sure.
You're meeting with me, and then you're meeting with Tucker or Mandy. I don't know. Didn't you message me?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You can cut this out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Thank you
But
guys for listening to me and Heather's journey through what is free will. Oh man, it's so good. If you have any things you want to add or people that you would recommend, I know this is a longer episode than usually what I provide. Leave it down in the comments. And if you at all found this conversation interesting or you want to strike a debate with your Christian friends, please go ahead and share it to them and tag us. So I hope that you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you for your time and your energy, and we will see you in the next one.